Where on earth did my glasses get off to? Oh, there they are. Hey, Michael. I'm doing alright. It's been kind of a long day. So, let's see here. I think I've done all the posting I need to do. So, we can just switch over. Okay. Well, thanks for the work. I appreciate it. Workers are always welcome. And thanks for the follow. Didn't know you were not already following. Hi, Amber. Welcome in. I'm doing alright. Is it? So, I have a weird problem. Let me see if some settings got applied. Making myself do it as well. Whoa. Wait a minute. Is that better? Nope. let's see how this comes through. I think that's better. So I think over the weekend I let my stream PC update, and I guess one of those updates was for the sound card, and it changed all the settings. It like switched it from a line into a microphone, and then tried to like apply a bunch of audio filters to it and a bunch of other stuff that it just destroys the audio. And it's stuff I had unset previously, but would have assumed that it would have, you know, stayed in place. So I love that. That's great. Super, super happy that that can happen. Thanks a lot, Sound Blaster. That's great. Okay. Since we had that little fiasco here, let's use our first ad break here. Let's see. I'm gonna check a couple things out for the app and see how they're working. So my stream embed is working. You'll see, you know what, I'm gonna pause this because otherwise you'll see yourself infinitely. It can even throw a banner, an optional banner at the top of the web page when the streamer running the site is live. And it has a bit of an animation to it too, to draw attention to it. I'll probably also make that where it can be a link, because you wouldn't have to have like a stream embed on your website, for instance. Thanks for the lurk. That page is like being customized. Oh, there, here we go. It's been customized here. So you can have what channel to monitor for the live bar, and then what channel to embed, and whether or not to show the chat as part of the embed. Now, the thing I want to test that I was working on earlier today, but I didn't have a solid means of testing, was going to be what? Okay, now this worked earlier, so what is it complaining about now? Let's try to run the commands here and see if it will. I don't really care about that first one, which is the only one it's going to actually report on. I want to see if it successfully. able... Okay, so it didn't post anywhere in the Discord, so that's... information. It's not a sign of things working, so that's not ideal. Okay, I was able to pull that information. It's pulling the stream. Where are we falling apart at? I guess the question. Okay, so it pulled the channels, but why is it suddenly failing to show them? In here. Because this was originally showing the correct channel name. What broke? Oh, I wonder. It complained earlier, the IDE stuff did, about me typing 0 or 5 here and said I should do it as an array. And I don't think I tested that part since making that change, assuming that the error message was correct. But I get the feeling this was a case where it was technically wrong. Yeah, it was wrong. Okay, so channel searching works. All right. In any case, that shouldn't have prevented the message from working because the ID was still correct in the database. So can we have it run this command and see what happens? Post in the announcements channel, so that Okay, we're gonna have an ad break.
You underestimate my power!
Thanks for the redeem, Toaster. Did the audio play? Because I didn't hear it. Okay. I need to figure out why I'm not hearing the redeems. I need to hear it. Well, I know that audio clip. That's we can't. What's with the badge? Oh, somebody gave you a sub, looks like. You got gifted a sub at some point. Okay, let me see if I can figure out why the alert audios aren't playing for me on my side. That's probably... I probably turned it off in the process of fixing the other problem. So that's going to be bus 1. So B1. Okay, let's see. So B1 is where the Streamlab alerts are going through, which means preferences, audio, aux input, means I need to send. Yeah, okay, so those are getting sent out of here. So they're probably turned off over here. Okay, I think I'll have the alerts now. I think. I guess the only way to find out would be to redeem something.
This is where the fun begins.
Okay. That works. Thanks, Amber. No, that did not play for me. Let me do something. I'll do one myself to see.
I'm waiting.
old man.
Oh, I was looking at the wrong thing. Hang on. I got it. Blurbs. Modern output.
1 hour later.
Very, very funny. Very, very funny. Rude. So the blurbs are on there. They should be active. Monitor and output. Which should put them... Okay, let me see what moves when I... Oh, thank you for the follow. Let me see which audio source moves when I do...
5 minutes later.
So actually none of them on the voice meter are moving, which implies that that's not getting output for some reason. Weird.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
Yeah, that's strange. They're playing on the stream PC. I see them. And I'm wondering if this is another side effect of that update that the computer did over the weekend. That they are not coming over here. Monitoring device is voice meter aux input. Which shouldn't have changed. That should have been the same one that it has been. Bus B. B1 is sending that out. That's strange. Because everything I'm looking at virtual M3. That puts it here, which should make me able to hear it. So I'm a little confused.
One eternity later.
No, I'm not hearing any of them, which is really strange. I guess it's good you guys can hear them, but I'm not hearing them. And it's not immediately obvious why. VBAN is showing an error there, it looks like, on those, but I don't really know what that means. So I'll have to deal with it off stream, I guess. You don't redeem enough stuff that it matters. You guys are extremely stingy with your channel points, so especially Amber hoarding hers like some kind of dragon. Okay. Will this run now? Did I have, I think, fixed the problem? I need to put in some additional logging, figure out where it's failing to run, I guess. Because according to this, no, we don't need a warning there. I guess let's do. Not deprecate. Debug. Log debug. We're going to say no stream rules found. at least let us see what it's getting. We also need to see what's coming through on the stream. Not rules, stream. Okay, so it is pulling it in as 0. It does need to check that key. All right, well, if that's the case, why don't I just do it like this? Why don't I have it? Do that and that. You're using an Ultra Ball on a Pidgey? Why would you do this? Okay. It's all you know. All you know now. Okay, so in this case, it's actually stopping because it finds no stream alert rules, which doesn't track. I don't need this anymore. Because we should be getting something from that. It is returning a collection. Yeah, it's returning objects. Okay, what if I do if is empty? Well, I actually need that to be not empty, but hey, it worked. So it didn't work as an automation because that part we haven't figured out yet in terms of it actively monitoring, in terms of it actively monitoring stream and handling accordingly. But it did. Where is it here? Here we go. Oh, come here, you stupid thing. Could you? Why? My snipping tool is like not cooperating with me here. Well, those of you in the Discord that have your notifications on for development streams will be aware that it worked because you'll have just gotten pinged. But I was trying to show the screenshot, and Snagit appears to have crashed. So okay, let me see if I can relaunch Snagit. Are you gonna open? Come on. Jeez. Why are you struggling here? Is it working this time? Okay, that only took 1 million years. Yeah, so it worked. The bot was able to ping. It pinged with the exact format of the message. So that was created based on this guy. So you could theoretically create a bunch of these. Presently, I only have the site designed to do this for a single streamer because it's meant to be like that streamer's website. And you can only monitor a single server, but you can monitor as many, you can interact with channels and roles. You can only do one channel per rule, like alert rule, but you can do multiple roles in each, message. You can ping multiple roles. And so you could just create multiple rules if you needed to post to more than one channel for some reason. And I may make adjustments to that in the future, but and it comes through looking like this. So it uses a placeholder sort of tag system here, which is similar to what some other bots do, that from what I've seen. So it replaces streamer, it replaces category and URL, and ends up coming out like this, posting as the bot. So that's successful. We just have to figure out a way to like automate it because I triggered that manually with a command. And you shouldn't have to trigger that manually with a command in the final deal. But let's see. Let me close this guy. So, it's currently got this other status that I had set up or this other job that I had set up, which is really just supposed to be checking streamer statuses. So what we should be able to do... Oh, no, you're fine. We should be able to mimic this setup here, because this one is the one that's supposed to so it gets the stream data, this uses some caching, which would be important. Let's see. Because this would help make sure that it isn't, and actually we don't need this anymore. This would help us make sure that we're not like pinging multiple times. I'm gonna take a break for ads here. Okay, we are back from ads. So, let's see. Last known status. So this will determine if the status has changed. And actually, let's do this because it should be. What does that look like in here? Hey, Savage. Let's see. When it pulls this, we get a started at. Well, you know, these IDs are probably unique every time. Not every time that I talk to it, but like for each stream. So like from one stream to another, the stream ID should change. So rather than worrying about the start date, I bet you I could just check this ID and if this ID has changed. I'm doing well. Okay, that doesn't quite work. Because that value can only be set if the stream was correct. Okay. We need to figure out a way to compare that ID. We should be able to just basically copy this guy. This is pretty much exactly what we want to do. We actually don't even need to worry about that because the category is there. So that doesn't have to be set because it's already set. Okay, so okay. Now, the only caveat to this is that it does not that cache key situation. Only prevents like 10-minute intervals. I suspect what it's going to do based on this alone is that it's going to potentially make multiple pings. I could be mistaken though. Okay, so let's run this command. Just to see if it runs at all. Yes. Okay. So it functions when that runs. I'm going to delete the message just so there's not more than one of them in there. So that successfully pings. The question is, or sort of twofold question. Would be, what can we do to this guy to what can we do to this guy to like ensure that you only get one ping per stream? That's where I think this ID is going to come in handy. I'm assuming that not just per streamer, but that each of the streams that gets this ID is unique. And really the only way I can be sure of that would be to compare the one from tonight's stream that's in the logs to one from my next one. But I'm pretty sure, actually, we don't have to assume that. We could come to the Twitch. Okay, so it identifies the stream. You can use the ID later to look up the VOD. Okay, cool. So then that is unique to each stream. So all we really need to do is check if that ID has changed. But we can only check it if this is valid, which makes the forget option a little bit difficult in this case. Because we can't just we can't cache it as the key. It would have to be cached as like a value. Maybe if we do that. I think that's how those work. Because I think I think I could assign it to this because this is just the key, which means it doesn't have a value. Down here, we're putting the value to true. kind of want it to be, but oh, you know what? I got it. I got it. I got that. I got it. I know what to do. Do this, and then we make sure when we're caching this that we also cache, oops, cache. Okay, I think I have an idea, and it's going to involve restructuring this. Oh, thank you for the follow, Dragon. I thought you followed earlier. Oh no, you lurked earlier. I could not remember. Okay, so we're just gonna get rid of all this because we're gonna do this as if the last stream ID uses rules. I'm gonna check. Not that. Damn it. Ah, shit. Stream data. Type. Okay, so we're checking our type. And whether or not it is equal to being live. Which will allow it to continue. Then we're going to check if our rule is matched. So we're going to do a regex. You know what? I'm just going to, we have this guy. So I'm going to copy it exactly as it is from here. Because it was not going to change. And then we set up our message. And we have to do a string replace. And so what this is going to do is it's going to be replacing those placeholder tags that we put in the message during when you're configuring your alert. You put in like the brackets streamer, brackets category, URL, etc. This is going to take those and replace them with the information it needs to perform the tags in Discord. Those with the streamer name, category, and for now this is pretty statically set. I mean, I don't anticipate Twitch changing their URL, but I could see the possibility of wanting to have maybe a shortened URL that someone uses to track the analytics of people like visiting their stream. That would give them like performance information. And then we're going to tell it what to do the replacement on, which is our message template, which comes from our rule. Then we have to run the send message, which this looks correct. And then we will log on the Twitch channel. this is literally just logging to a specific log file. It has nothing to do with like sending something to Twitch or anything. About to have an ad. Okay, okay. I gotcha. Okay. We're back. Amber redeemed posture check and hydrate on me during the ad break. Okay, so once we've logged those, then we can store the stream ID to prevent duplicate announcements. That's gonna be cache. Not punch or butch. I don't even know what butch would be. This is gonna be stream status. Well, we'll start with ID. Stream ID. ID, and we're gonna do now. Oops, shit. Now add I feel like in the long run I want to make this configurable, but we're gonna say 6 hours because I think most streamers probably stream for several hours anyway. I think there shouldn't be a reason for that to really expire. And based on what we've set up anyway, if the stream ID has wait a minute, this was supposed to be that. If the stream ID doesn't match, it's going to continue down here anyway, so it's still going to check the last one. It's just going to expire after 6 hours automatically and be empty. But if there was a solid way of determining when the stream ended, I could purge it that way, but I don't know that there is, since Twitch, I don't think, provides webhooks for that kind of thing. So the best bet, I think, is going to be to compare to those stream IDs, because at least that way, if a streamer were to, for whatever reason, end stream and then start a new stream, the stream IDs should be different, and it will still allow for the announcement. So I think that stream ID is going to be important in that case. We're also going to store the stream status. In this case, I'm only going to have it check have it cache the live status for about 5 minutes, because the stream could suddenly end. And that's really unrelated to actually, for that reason, it's really unrelated to the rules. This is more about having that information in general. Which actually makes this a good idea to, let's do a secondary thing for the status. said ID, not data. Damn it. Okay, so it's probably undefined. Oh, oops. I did that wrong. I wanted to put this. In here. Yep, okay, so it still works. We're still able to perform a ping. Cool. So that pinged the server correctly. Now, okay. So it's caching those, which is good. That should prevent, if I were to run one again, if this works correctly, it should not ping the server. Okay, we did not get a new ping, which means that it successfully matched. Yep, it hit. Cool. It hit both of those. It confirmed that the ID still matched, and so it did not send a ping. Cool. So now what we need is for this to just actually run on a schedule and be checking. working. Supposedly this is working, but and it should be checking every 5 minutes. But I haven't actually seen any of this in my logs to suggest that this is actually working. Now, we could try it this way and have it run the Twitch check command every 5 minutes. And see if that works. According to this, it should do that within the next minute, which at the very least means we should get those hits in the cache again. Even if, because that's been the big problem I've had with trying to test these automated ones, is I haven't been able to find them showing up in my logs to suggest if they were actually running. Okay, it should have already run. No, 15 seconds. Okay. So it should run here shortly. Okay, it has run because we're now up to the next due being 4 minutes. Now let's check our cache. No, the last hit was 4 minutes ago. It did not run a command. Okay, so what if we instead do... That would be that guy. Oh. Really? It doesn't take... Maybe because it only takes one parameter. They must be of type array. Well, I had it as an array. And you didn't like that. Maybe it can't get... Oh, wait a minute. Did it typo? Oh, it typoed the thing. That's why it's giving me a hard time. Because I don't have one set on that. The freaking tab. It made it take the wrong one. I'm going to go ahead and force it to run. Hey, it's okay. It is running it. Based on the schedule, at least. Or based on that command, like forcing it to run. Which should mean... very least. Yep, it did set the status again, but that's fine. Because the status expires every like 5 minutes. That way we can keep up whether or not it's live. So as long as it will continue to happen, then we'll be fine. It'll continue to update everything on its own. I doubt that, just because these have not been running except for when I manually trigger them. And that could be because I'm in a development environment and not a production environment. But even with that, Okay. Yeah. But I'm on Windows, so I can't set up the cron tab. Okay, so on an actual server where you could set up the cron tab, then it would work. Yeah, so right now it's sitting there letting the schedule tick through, which should mean this actually should auto update. But that should mean that we automatically get one of these. Once the time cycles through. Let's see. Okay, so that's the one for unbanned, so it did run that one. Which means in a moment we should see this one pop up again. It takes a second. I guess I'll need a efficient way. Is it not going to run the other one? I'll need an efficient way to let pause for ads. I'll need an efficient way to let users set up their cron jobs if that's the case. Still only running that one, which is weird. Or at least that's the one it's showing. Maybe because I think that one runs like every minute. It's probably actually the result of We'll look at it once we come back from ads. Okay, we're back from ads. So it's only been running this unban one. But I bet that's because that one's probably configured to run every minute. That's not one of the ones I've created. That's like part of a plugin I have. A package. So there it goes. Yep. So in truth, what we're actually looking at is probably one that's meant to run every minute. And I wasn't timing it, but according to the timestamps, I guess it was running every minute. It felt a lot longer than that. But the Discord one did run, or the Twitch check did run. So if I create a way to set up cron jobs easily for users, because that won't be something that most users would know how to do, to run the schedule on their server, this would work. So that's good. That's pretty significant because that means we've at least got where it can communicate and everything. What I'll need to do as sort of a test is before I go live for streaming on Thursday, I should make sure that this is running and scheduled and have it post the message to Discord if it's successful. But I think it would be based on what we've seen here. Okay, we're gonna push that to GitHub. Okay, so that's pretty handy. honestly, that actually handles one of the larger things I wanted to do. Now, the main thing I could think being different at this point would be how I handle the category. Because right now I handle it based on you enter the text here for the category, and then I run a regex on it. But based on that, right now the way this is designed, you can only do a rule for a category. And the reason I'm picturing that being a problem is, let's say that I want to have, because I have two different roles, right, that we worry about in my server. I have dev live stream ping and I have gaming live stream ping. Well, if I'm doing gaming live stream ping, the only way that could functionally work in this would be if like literally every single game had its own rule. And you don't want to do that. So I would need to change this category to just be looking for a regex. Now the downside to that is that the user would have to know how to write regex. I mean, there are regex builders online, right? But I don't know. So in that case, the way this would come across would be like, we're just matching a single field. It'd be like this. Okay. I think that does fine, I think. Because then that would mean... Let me copy this. Um... So to create a new rule, okay. So then, what is the thing to change? So if I want it to not match, what is the PHP regex not match string? Is it the asterisks? No. Okay, I want it to match basically not that. So which character is that? That's gonna be is it if I do this? Let's see. Okay. Basically, it'd be that without a space. Yeah. So that should result in the rule I would want. Now, of course, that'll have to get tested during a gaming stream, but I think that would work. So that would actually allow the bot to properly tag the correct Discord roles based on the Twitch category. And since it's regex based, you could like shorthand it to assign multiple categories to a single ping if you wanted to be very, very specific. You could basically give it an array of these. It'd be based on how you built your regex, but you could give it a list of those. I'm not too worried about the regex situation and users having to create it because there are several bots that can do those kind of announcements that already rely on you creating your own regex. So that's not the end of the world. I think that'll work out all right. Okay. 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 So once these checks run, I've also got an ad break coming up. All right, we are back, and so we were waiting on this these checks to run, and now we're gonna have. I've been using a bot on GitHub to sort of review my commits. It is basically just a language model, so it's not an expert, but it has been able to find like typos where I've maybe refactored or renamed a method or something somewhere and then missed renaming it across the program, that kind of thing. It's able to find little typos and mistakes usually pretty well. So I'm gonna let that run real quick, see if it finds anything that we can actually consider to be breaking. And if not, then we'll go ahead and push this pull request into the main branch of the program. Okay. Yeah, so see, it found this before, but... Oh, I missed making that part of the change, I bet. Although, it's saying it will not behave, but it seems like it does behave. So... But for the sake of argument, okay, and then let's see if this still works the way it's supposed to. Do these still show the correct? Okay. Fair enough. I will say, it does look like it is working slightly differently. Because I recall that it looked like we were pulling in other categories still that I didn't mean to pull in. Oh, nope. It doesn't like something. Why are you saying unknown? Yeah, see, it doesn't like that. Okay, it seems like it's working. But see, that's interesting. We go back and we get unknown. Now, is that just a bug? Maybe like an API limit thing? Rate limited. Okay. That's fine. We need to put in a rate limit and cache those values anyway. So that's perfectly acceptable. Yeah, both of these. We need to do a rate limit on. So we'll set that up. Maybe something. Oh, a tissue holder. That's cute. Is this the tissue thing from Japan? Okay. That's cute. You want me to keep it here so it doesn't get messed up? In my car? It might get lost in my car. Okay. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. But I mean, still, you making pillows. That's just what we need. More pillows. Okay. Oh. I'm glad you had a good time. Love you too. That is problematic, yes. For those in chat wondering what just happened, my fiance was at a sewing class this evening after work and brought me a like tissue holder that she made. It's holding tissues, but coincidentally, because it was the only like travel pack of tissues we had in the house, it's holding a Pokemon themed tissue pack from Japan. We had some friends go to Japan and they brought some stuff back. So it's just this little cloth holder. Okay, so we need to avoid the rate limit issue. case, we should probably do a return cache. Remember Discord channel list. We'll set it for now. Add minutes. I think 15 minutes will be enough. Especially given that we are basically caching on an individual basis. Set up the same thing here. Probably need to eventually add in something to let the users manually clear their cache, but I don't think that's going to be a big problem. Okay, we actually don't need to throw an exception anymore because we shouldn't get one based on this. Anymore, at least. And so then, when someone goes into these, they should be getting... Oh, gracious. Got a raid from Juno. Hey Juno, welcome in Raiders. Sorry, you probably just got flashbanged by this screen here. I'm working on an application. My stream's going pretty well. We got some progress on this web application of mine. So this is a program that I'm working on, a web app I'm working on that's going to eventually host my website, but also people will be able to download it and use it to host their own websites. But one of the things I wanted it to do was be able to, well, one of several things. So firstly, you can set it up to where you have different page elements you can control. And in that case, you get stuff like this, where you could have, say, an embedded stream. I'll pause it so it's not infinitely running here. You can have an embedded stream with chat and everything. See, there you are, chat. You even get like a little live notification that could be at the top of the website. It could be on pages that this stuff's not on, because you can control that kind of stuff through these page blocks. Hi, Key. I'm guessing you must have come in on the raid. Or did you just wander in here coincidentally? So you can add these different blocks to different pages. So you could have this status bar be on every page of your website, and it would show when you were live. But then on top of that, I have a built-in Discord bot that's built into the site. And so I have these rules that you can create. You can create a stream rule, something like this. This adds some flexibility that I wasn't finding in a lot of like live notification bots. And that is that you can do things based on category to a specific channel. So it'll go and it'll pull up the channel, your text channels. You can ping one or multiple roles, and you can configure the message. And what you ultimately get is you get something like this. So this message down here at the bottom was posted by the website during stream today. I had to trigger it manually because it was not ready for automation at the time. But the idea, based on the stuff we've tested during the stream, is that once you have this website hosted somewhere, once you are using it on a web server somewhere, it would actually detect when you go live. It would be checking every 5 minutes or so. And when you go live, it would post the notification to your server. It does mean that you have to have ownership of the server that you want to post in. So I'm not like letting people freely post to any old server. You know, that would kind of be a nightmare in the long run. But it does let you. The mic's fuzzy. We fixed it a little earlier, but it was definitely somewhat fuzzy. Oh dear. I was too busy running my mouth. I didn't even see Starby Raiden. Oh dear. Welcome in, Starby. Welcome in, Raiders. I was just showing off my new ping system. And key about my mic being fuzzy, it could actually be my voice. I'm a little bit raspy today, but I did have some mic problems earlier that I think we fixed. So I was showing off this feature of my website, my web app that you'll be able to use to build your own websites eventually for fellow streamers, where you can set up live notification rules based on Twitch categories and based on Discord channels, and give it specific one or multiple roles that you want to ping, and it will be capable of posting a live notification to your Discord, your desired Discord server. It has to be one you have ownership of.
Shining
like
Starby has gifted
Just like
5
this guy
subs to viewers.
Oh geez. Oh geez. We're on a hype train. Thank you, Starby, for the hype train. Yeah, it is apparently a choo-choo situation. She's
Butterfly underscore Juno
Juno's
Dex
joining in.
8.
This feels like a Coordinated attack. Wait. Is he in here? Is he in here? No. Okay. He's not here. Good. Gracious. It's always nice to see you guys. Oh God.
Butterfly underscore Juno cheered X20.
Juno, why are you doing so many individual bits at one time? Do you have a very specific number that you're shooting for there or something? Gracious. We don't need Horizon. We need cash. Cool. So that is that's good. That is now hitting a cache rather than getting rate limited by Discord, because that was the problem, or a problem that we were having. You never learned how to use Twitch? Well, there are, I can't share my own channel, so I can't look at it, but there are increments. Like, I think it's like 100, 1,000 or something. As long as you're, which I guess right now you haven't done 100, you've done 8 and 20. So I guess it was based on how many bits you had. I don't think there's a 5. I don't think. So, I mean, I guess if you had a specific number of bits that you wanted to use, that would have limited you more. Is Amber even paying attention to all the fun that's happening right now? Is she missing out? Amber hype trained me the other day by herself. I dream one day for a 13-bit amount. So you guys went and did this, and I was actually contemplating whether I was gonna stay live a little much longer, because it's already like 10 o'clock. I was on a level set. My contribution was minor, but I was on a level 70.
Butterfly underscore Juno cheered X13.
I think it was. I think it was level 70. It might have been higher than that. It might have been a little higher than that. It might have made it to like 71. But yeah, it was like a level 70 hype train earlier today on Pirate Software's channel. Apparently every April Fool's Day, his community likes to try to beat the hype train record. You know what? You gotta get rest there, Starby. Thank you for the raid. Thank you for the hype train. Let's see what we got in the hype chest before you leave here. We got spilled tea. I like the emote there, Zoomers. And welcome in. Yeah, it was a level 70 hype train. I just happened to pull up my notifications from where I got the emote for it. So Pirate Software hit hype train level 70 earlier today because his community is insane. Okay, so I guess we've established that that change can work. And we put in a cache to avoid the API issue. So we can push that. And we can mark this is resolved. Let's see. Okay, that should be pushed. I gotta wait on these code checks to run. We got ads starting. All right, we are back from ads. The code scanning is all passed. So we can merge and delete that branch. Get us back onto the main branch. There you are, Amber. I just drank water. You missed the hype train. Starby and Juno rated us. Me, I guess, technically. And then Starby was gifting subs and Juno was throwing bits at us. Yeah, and Kenpachi's nowhere to be seen, so things didn't get out of hand. That was actually the first thing I checked when the hype train started. I was like, oh god, is Kenpachi here? Did he come in on one of these raids? Or wander in on his own accord? I gotta check how close we are to another emote slot. We are 11 subscriber points away from a new standard emote slot. So I think that means like 11 subs basically. 'Cause I think it's a point per regular sub. And I already have some of the emotes queued up to go, so whenever that happens, we can pick another emote to put into Twitch. Most of them are already approved and everything. Let's update. Now that we've synced everything over. Can I not go back that far? Oh, that's unfortunate. I know I'm going to have to modify that command. It's going to fail because there's two things I have to ignore and I can never remember exactly what they are. Can never quite remember them. Yeah, it's this thing, and then there's one other one I have to do. I'm gonna run that. It's gonna fail one more time. Let's see. Okay, there's the other one I need. I was looking away. All right, that's going to be updating, and it may take a while. So, I think we've made pretty significant progress this evening, given that we've now got something that will run automatically once on a actual server, and be able to not only get those Twitch statuses, but dynamically create those pings. So I think that adds up to something that's pretty useful and accounts for kind of the main progress I was hoping to make this evening. About 10:15, so I'm going to try to wrap things up for tonight's stream. And what I'd like to do, I don't really see any members of Campfire that I recognize that are live at the moment. At least not out of S'more Scouts. There are probably some in the non-affiliates, but I don't... Let's see. Who is this? Zora escaped. That's annoying. See, I don't recognize these users. They're non-affiliates and they're probably newer. So I don't really want to raid them since I don't know them. I have no idea what their stream is like. I'll have to watch them at another time. But I have a friend who's live playing Zelda. So we're going to raid him. Zen's pretty cool. So we're going to give Zen a hard time. He's probably doing a randomizer. I'm going to copy, I'm going to send this message, and we're going to roll out. Good night, everybody.